Magic numbers.
Experience. Wisdom born of experience should tell us that war is obsolete. If we are to have peace on earth, our loyalties must become ecumenical rather than sectional. No individual can live alone. No nation can live alone. And as long as we try, we're going to have war in this world. And we must either learn to live together as brothers, or we're all going to perish together as fools. Yes, as nations and individuals, we are interdependent. It really boils down to this, that all life is interrelated. We are all caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny, and whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. We are made to live together because of the interrelated structure of reality. You ever stop to think that you can't leave for your job in the morning without being dependent on most of the world? You get up in the morning and go to the bathroom and reach over for the sponge, and that's handed to you by Pacific Island. You reach for the bar of soap, and that's given to you at the hands of a Frenchman. And then you go in the kitchen to drink your coffee for the morning. That's poured in your cup by a South American. Or maybe you want tea. That's poured in your cup by a Chinese. Or maybe you're desirous of having cocoa for breakfast, and that's poured in your cup by a West African. And then you reach over for your toast, and that's given to you at the hands of an English-speaking farmer, not to mention the baker. And before you finish eating breakfast in the morning, you're dependent on more than half of the world. This is the way our universe is structured. It is its interrelated quality. We aren't going to have peace on earth until we recognize this basic fact of the interrelated structure of all reality.
Alright guys, in case you guys didn't know, that was Martin Luther King Jr. Okay, so today we're just going to be covering some Boxing 101. So I'm gonna give you some tips on what has worked for me in the past, in the present, and what I have read and studied and researched from before even Bruce Lee, meaning before Bruce Lee was born. Like for instance, Morihei Ueshiba, the founder of Aikido. I've studied him very in depth. I'm already getting messed with. It's already being cut off. Hopefully you guys can hear me on the other end. But I go even way beyond that. I go back to Miyamoto Musashi. All right, the Book of Five Rings, the number one known samurai of all time, had over like 223 known duels to the death, meaning like fights against samurais that others actually witnessed, but there was many more that others didn't witness. I even go way further back, even further, Marcus Aurelius, all right, and even further than that. But that's more than enough for now. But we're going to be covering the mechanics of boxing, but beyond boxing, because we're not just going to do the physical and mental overall like most boxing gyms do. We're going to go beyond that. We still have well, yeah, technically metaphysical, but I was going to say spiritual and emotional, which are technically metaphysical. Okay, eventually you can even incorporate the cellular. How? Through intake, through nutrition, through supplementing. Okay, that's how we'll get to the cellular, but some other time. You can actually get to the cellular mentally as well, but we'll get to that some other time. Right now it's going to be nothing but physical, mental, and possibly a little bit of emotional, at least covering some of the emotions involved. And again, this is mainly for beginners, but some of you who have had some experience or are even professionals, you might not learn something new when it comes to the boxing, but you will. You will learn something new about philosophy, wisdom, and many more things, especially neuroplasticity, balancing the left and right brain hemisphere, and many more. And that's how we get to spiritual and emotional through training and boxing. So, anyhow, number one thing to keep in mind is protection. All right, I normally don't use hand wraps, but I have over 30 years. I know I don't look over 30 years, meaning I know I don't look like I've been training for 30 years because of the way I look. I look like I'm barely 30, but trust me, I'm way older than what I appear. But that goes to show you how effective my training, my philosophy, my outlook is. Okay, and this is coming from a veteran, a war veteran, coming from an elite recon platoon. I'm not making this shit up, okay? 550 combat missions. So PTSD had me very, very bad. I actually had to give up my gym. Not give it up, but just I sold it off and couldn't keep up with it because of what was going on in here and in here. So I had to stop doing that and I had to go back inside so that I can be able to function outside, because as above, so below, as inside, so outside. Vision is weak, perception is strong. See through senses, not just vision, because vision or perception, I should say, is projection. So if you see it out there, it's inside. You need to shift inside. So with this in mind, we're going to be able to project our intentions and our energies. Now, when you're in the ring, you don't want to have the same intentions as when you're with your girlfriend, your wife, a gathering. You see what I'm saying? It's a whole different aspect when it comes to mental, physical, spiritual, emotional, cellular, all that stuff. All right. So, like I was saying, I normally don't use hand wraps because I have over 30 years of experience of conditioning my bones through Wolff's Law. Look that up, Wolffs. Without the S because it's Wolff. I forgot his first name, but he's the one that the scientist that came up with the idea of tiny fractures. Not the idea, but the concept, the reality that happens. Tiny fractures eventually heal very, very fast and become stronger and stronger and stronger. And so by you striking things, you don't have to hit hard. By you striking things, you're preventing osteoporosis, many things, and you're prolonging your longevity, so much things. So protection. Eventually, I'm going to show you guys a video on how to properly. There is a proper way to hand wrap. You don't just hand wrap, and most gyms don't know it. Trust me, this is not coming from arrogance. I'm talking about science that people don't utilize in the gyms. In the gyms, all they want is their money, and if they are true components of your team, all they worry about is what? Condition, 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 right? Meaning stamina, endurance, right? Strength, stuff like that. But it's beyond that. There's more to it than that. Protection, in other words, or prevention, in other words. Look at Mayweather, all right? Phenomenal legend. You can't take anything from him. And anyone that loses to Mayweather, you can't take anything from them because Mayweather is Mayweather. You kidding me? But look at Mayweather. And through what I'm about to say, he still is who he is. Mayweather has had what, like three broken boxer's fractures, basically, or basically problems with his hands. At least three major problems with his hands in the past 20 some years. Okay, hey, that's what champions go through, right? But their gym has never really truly trained, conditioned the bones, the ligaments, and tendons. All they conditioned was strategy, physical endurance, right? Nothing wrong with that. But if you do these other things, you'll be able to prolong your life and your body to be able to sustain punishment if it has to. Because, hey, if you're not fighting, if you're not receiving punishment when you're in the ring, guess what? You're a POS, who is like the word you're cherry picking, right? That means you're not getting good fights. If you're not struggling inside the gym, inside the ring, what the hell are you doing there? All right, you're wasting your time. So get the proper. Don't be afraid. Like most of you all worried about the money. Forget about that shit. Well, actually, yes. And the reason why I say that is because things are about to change drastically, and money's gonna be considered in a different way. Okay, so yes, forget about money. I forgot about money 10 years ago, and I to this day I don't need anything. I never have money that much, but I never need anything, and I have so. Wait till you see what I'm about to launch. You're gonna be like, wait, and you never have money? How is it that you have all this? There's other ways to attract abundance to the mind through many different things. That's why I started playing Martin Luther King. War is obsolete. This is coming from a warrior, okay? Because a true warrior is always engaged in a life and death struggle towards peace. Okay, so but like I was saying, I started off with not JFK, MLK, Martin Luther King Jr. He's stating that war is obsolete for the simple fact that we are all interconnected. Okay, we're not independent. We shouldn't be independent. We shouldn't be codependent at all. For sure, no codependency. But we definitely need to be interdependent. Everybody benefits because we are all one. We are all interconnected. So, war is obsolete, but you still need to be a warrior because what does a warrior do? Is always fighting for peace. And when there is no war, that means there's so much peace in here and peace around them because everybody trusts them or secure around them if they're not struggling from PTSD. But then that way it makes a proper community when you're surrounded by warriors because no one's gonna want to mess with those warriors. No one's gonna want to fuck with that community, and the ones that do are gonna get punished by a simple someone else's mother who knows how to fight and will put a teenager in check. Simple as that. So, anyways, protection, protection, protection. I'm gonna show you guys this proper way to hand wrap. And when you see, you're gonna be like, wait, really? All these little details? Yes, all these little details. I have gotten in over 200 street fights. I stopped counting at 144 street fights when I was only 17, and I only had one boxer's fracture, and it was when I was 11. Oh goodness. Let me go back in. I gotta get my power source. I don't know how. See, they're messing with me, man. This is a good laptop that should last about at least 8 hours. See, it's already being messed with, and it was full, and right now it's almost empty. And I have only been on for about 15, 20 minutes. That goes to show you guys how much I'm being censored. I'll be right back. So, like I was saying, I've only had one boxer's fracture, and this is how I was guided to research when I was only 11 years old. 11 years old. No, I was 12 at the time. I started street fighting at 11 years old, believe it or not. But at 12 years old, I was fighting this taller dude Okay, in early in the morning, hitting him in the head because he had me in the headlock, and he almost choked me out. So, and this was when I was 12 years old with the taller guy that was a little bit older than me. Okay, and that's one for some odd reason. That's one thing I really hate. Okay, for my head to be grabbed that way. Okay, because he had me in a headlock and he was big. And I did this judo move, got him off me, got on top of him, started slamming his face, his head, everything over and over and over because he made me snap. And then crack. And I kept going, crack, crack, and it just kept freaking shattering. When I was done, not even 10 minutes later, this hand was nearly double its size. That's how you know you have a broken bone. Okay? If it doesn't swell up right away, it's not broken. It's just, it might hurt like hell, but you can fix it by adjusting ligaments and tendons that are shocked and they're like tensed up because of the shock, because of when you hit something hard. So anyhow, protection first, hand wraps. I'm only doing it now because I wanna lead by example. Okay, I normally don't use them, but if you're starting, even if you've had several years, always wear them. Always wear them. I'm trying to do something else. I'm gonna be straight up with you. I'm actually reconditioning myself, everything, mind, body, everything, so that I can compete in bare knuckle fighting. Yes, bare knuckle fighting, which is a completely different conditioning, training, and everything through and through than boxing and MMA. It truly is. There's so many different parameters involved that we'll get into some other time. But I am an expert at bare knuckle fighting. Remember, I stopped counting at 144 street fights when I was only 17. Trust me, there were many, many more after that. So, with that in mind, all these fights, and in the ring and even outside the ring, only one boxer's fractures when I was 12 years old. After that, nothing more. And trust me, I've gotten many freaking fights hitting hard things for people. So, and I'll show you. Well, I have things. I was gonna hit this wood over here to show you how hard I can hit without any protection, because I have conditioned myself so well. So anyhow, next thing is always train with your mouthpiece in, and always have a double. Even if you're MMA, fucking wear your double mouthpiece, not the fucking silly what is it, that football only single one, dude. Stop being egotistical. Your safety comes first. You can fucking bite your tongue. You can easily drop that mouthpiece. It's not worth wear just because you want to talk shit. Wear this double one. You can still talk shit if you want. You won't be heard, but there's no need to waste your time in that. So wear the double mouthpiece and wear it at all times, because you will fight as you train. So if you're not training with it when you fight with it, if you're not training with it when you fight with it, you're gonna get exhausted a lot quicker. Here's why: there's at least 22 muscles in the tongue alone. There is way more around the face. When you have this on, you're clenching it. Okay, even if it's the single one, which is it opens your mouth less, which is the bad thing. You need to have your mouth open like that and then clench, because when you get hit, it's already in the position to where it's the safest. Okay, I know it sounds weird, but it is the safest. When you have that single one, your jaw moves around easily, and you're gonna get your head rocked and your equilibrium shocked. Okay, but with this one, you will hardly ever get your equilibrium rocked unless your oxygen is out. Okay, so practice with the mouthpiece in, even though it's very uncomfortable, it's very taxing, yes. But guess what? When you adapt to that, you're gonna be, I was gonna say king, but it's beyond king. You're gonna be superhuman inside of the ring. If you train with this on, look around, ask around. Not a single person, not even your legends, fucking train with this in. Imagine if they did, there would be 10,000, not just 3 or 4 times better, 10,000 times better. That's how important this is. This is the number one secret to having these. Without a single ab crunch or sit up since 2007. How is that possible? And I have that. It's not a 6 pack, it's not an 8 pack, it's a 10 pack. And it's not just because I wear this, but because I wear this, it makes me breathe a certain way, and I have to breathe through the diaphragm. So that means every breath I take when I have this in, it's a fucking ab crunch or a sit up, equivalent to it. Every single breath. So imagine if you get used to that. What happens when you don't have it? You're supreme because you're not struggling without it. But if you train yourself with it when you're not around people, guess what? When you're around people, you will never be drained of energy and all that. But anyhow, this will help you breathe a certain way, which oxygen equals energy, and we detoxify more than 70% through our body through breathing alone. So when you put this on, you train with this on, you're doing so many benefits as you're training. So after that, last thing is uh, uh, um, never hit the heavy bag hard. Never. You don't need to hit it hard. If you want to condition your knuckles, hit something hard that's hard, a hard surface, but you don't have to hit it hard. You just bam, bam. You just relinquishing the sensitivity in your knuckles and your wrists and your ligaments, tendons, muscles, skin, all that stuff. So finally, enough about the talk. Let's get going with the punching. I always turn my mouthpiece in, but right now I'm gonna not do it because I need you guys to uh, understand me. So, um, anything else? Um, that's about it when it comes to that. Now I'm gonna show you the actual mechanics of the tips I have for you. First, I'm gonna go for maybe 3 minutes or so, which will seem a lot longer. And no, I'm not gonna try to impress you guys. I'm not gonna try to punch crazy hard. I'm not gonna try to punch fast. I'm just gonna get in the flow so that I can warm up. As I'm doing that, I'm gonna come up with the things that I truly need to cover. Especially I have to check in to see if anybody, but I can do it now. See if anybody's commented or is on. Oh, hello, brother Cash Johnny Cash 17. That's the first time I see you comment, but thank you, brother, for commenting. And I will, yeah, I will apologize in the sense that I talk a lot, but it is necessary, meaning the strategy. But you'll see that if you follow these weird, unconventional strategies and tips and all this, trust me, you will dominate in so many planes of existences within your sport, whether it's boxing or MMA or even BKFC, bare knuckle fighting. Uh, so let me go ahead and get started over here. All right. So, oh yeah, I was gonna put my mouthpiece in, but I don't need it. Not right now, because I need you guys to. Actually, I will, because I'm gonna be punching for a while. So I'm gonna. I have to. I love it. I love training with it, because it's that much more difficult, which makes it what that much easier for me for when I'm done to live like a king and not be bothered by things. I know it sounds weird, but it does work that way. It's weird. As you can see, I did have my mouthpiece in, which makes it 10 times more difficult to train with the mouthpiece in. But anyhow, the first thing you should do once the bell rings is neutralize those thoughts and regulate that heart rate. By first, not thinking, man, that was too easy, that was too hard, I might come out and knock out this fool in the next round. Nothing, completely neutral. Bam, like nothing. It's not the beginning, it's not the end. You're not thinking win, you're not thinking lose. You're only letting nature take its course. And if you train properly and hard, nature will be on your side, okay? So the first thing you want to do is take a deep breath into your nose, hold it for a few seconds, and then release it slowly out your mouth. Then again into your nose. Don't forget to hold. Neutralize those thoughts as you're regulating that heart rate. And all this time, you can be listening to your corner. Even if you're not looking at your coach's eyes. You shouldn't. Not really. Unless you're in deep trouble, go into your coach's eyes and hopefully your coach knows what to do. Not just look back at you and say, hey, you gotta fight harder. Hey, you gotta stop getting hit. Are you fucking kidding me? Of course you have to do that. You, as a coach, you give your fighter proper information. Okay? Things that will trigger joy, happiness. Yes, believe it or not, joy or happiness while you're in the fight. If your fighter is sucking and you see it in their eyes like they want to give up, don't give them something that's gonna bring them joy. Like if you know they love cake and ice cream or something, and say, hey man, if you don't win, I'm not gonna give you that favorite slice of cheesecake that I have for you, waiting for you, or whatever the case may be. And that will literally pump them up. It has nothing to do with the fight, but inside, mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally, yes, inside physically, things will start to adjust. How? Mirror neurons. Look up mirror neurons. See where I'm going with this? No gym will ever bring that up, ever. Look up mirror neurons and you will see why it is very important to visualize things as you're fighting, before your fight, after your fight, every which way. Visualization, visualization, visualization. That's why Miyamoto Musashi states, vision is weak, perception is stronger. So stop seeing, stop trying to concentrate on one thing, because if you concentrate on one thing, you're missing the fucking heavenly glory, what's coming at you. But if you see with your ears, you see what you're feeling. What do you think tigers, cats have whiskers? Or almost any animal, well, not any animal, but dogs and cats, especially cats. That helps them to balance. That helps them to sense. That helps them to hear. That helps them to see better, to feel better, to know their surroundings better. Take off the whiskers of a cat and see what happens. Look it up on YouTube. I guarantee you'll find some stupid idiot that try to pluck their cat's whiskers off and see what happens to the cat. The cat cannot act. The cat is not an actor. The cat is acting that way because it no longer has a sense of equilibrium. By simple, 7, 8, 10 hairs on each side of the whiskers? So vision is weak, perception is strong. Haven't you seen Mayweather doing like this? He's concentrating on the mitt work that, rest in peace, his uncle Mayweather would do. But then if this is the camera, he'll be right, going, doing this boom, 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 boom. And then he'll just be like, looking at the camera like it is nothing. Why? Because he's still seeing with his hearing. That's why he puts his ear towards it. All right? Because sometimes you can hear your opponent's intentions coming. Really, it really does work that way. So, vision is weak, perception is strong. Neutralize those thoughts. Regulate the heart rate by taking that deep in breath through your nose, holding it in that moment. This is where you transcend by transmuting. This is why I say don't think negative or positive, just neutral. Neutralize those thoughts and regulate that heart rate. And when you're done with those, before that 1 minute break, you're ready to go, almost as if you started. Not this is second, third, fourth round. Yeah, I regained some energy, but I'm not back to the beginning. When you do this, you'll be almost back to the beginning every single time, no matter how much trouble you're in. Even if you did great for 4 rounds, on the fifth round, you somehow got rocked a little bit or hurt a little bit. It didn't shock you, but you hurt a little bit. But then the next round, that's where the true psychology comes in, the proper one, and you take over. Okay, so anyhow, so now we're gonna go ahead and cover some actual. Let me check the comments. Some actual little training tips, and then also how to generate power. There's no view. Oh yeah, there is 2 viewers. Cool. For the 2 viewers that are watching, one love, one light. For together our light will shine much brighter. I'm glad we share a mutual love of whether it's boxing, MMA, whatever it may be. But you're here watching for a reason, right? So, anyways, so here we go. First thing, let's go ahead and take the heavy stuff out first. Power. Let's generate power. Okay. Now, power does not come from the triceps. Power does not come from punching power. It does not come from the chest. It does not come from the mind, even though all that I mentioned really help and all that I mentioned should be incorporated, plus at least another 30 some muscles or sections. Yeah, that many for one punch. By the way, I can't pick up the one finger, so I try to pick up the thumb to represent the one. But anyways, so to generate proper power so that it is efficient, proficient, and you don't tax yourself out too much, because throwing power can release your power, your strength. It can take off your energy. This is why you shouldn't punch hard all the time, because you're going to gas out. Why? Because lactic acid builds up when you're trying to go hard, when you're lifting weights, and you go hard, like the 10 rep max. Say, for instance, you could lift the 45 pounds like 25 times, no problem. But then you put your 10 rep max, okay, you'll get to 10, and then you start slowing down big time. That thing that slows you down, and you have more strength to pick up that weight, right? But what happens is your body is naturally turning on a self-defense mechanism in the form of lactic acid. And if you get acquainted with lactic acid properly, which the books will not show you that. To this day, the books did not show you the proper way to beat lactic acid buildup. Okay? And the number one way is simply through breathing, and then visualization, and then the other things I've been mentioning. So, with this in mind, power comes from the ground up. Has nothing to do from where it begins. It has nothing to do with you to begin with. Then you, the person who is grounded, gets the information, meaning from the brain, from the mind, as it's processing what's on the ground, what's in front of you, what's around you. Okay, because if you're next to the corner, you're going to punch a certain way, opposed to if you're in the middle of the ring. In the middle of the ring, you shouldn't really try to throw haymakers. Why? Because your opponent is going to open up the distance and you're going to miss. But if you throw haymakers, obviously well-timed, well-placed haymakers, when you have them trapped near the corner, where are they going to go? Not very many places, aren't they? So this is what I'm saying. You have even professionals nowadays, while they're fresh, they still throw haymakers in the beginning for one, and not only that, in the middle of the ring, and every single time they freaking miss because it's natural. So know the ring, know where to strike. Here's one thing that all of you will get right away, whether it's MMA, boxing, Muay Thai, whatever it may be. If it's in the ring, haven't you noticed that if it's an octagon, okay, you see the octagon, right? You're inside the cage, but inside the cage on the mat there is another smaller octagon. Have you guys noticed that? Sometimes there's not an outline of an actual octagon, but sometimes the logos, from the advertisements, sometimes they're placed around where the octagon would be, meaning in the middle of the ring. And guess what that's there for? It's there to help you mark your point of release, if you may. Because look, if you're stalking your opponent, right? You start off in the middle, and somehow, some way, you intimidate your opponent, and you're the one that's stalking him, right? And they're backing up, and you're trying to get in position to punch him, right? Well, if they keep backing up, eventually they're gonna get to the edge, right? But through your periphery, you can see that their feet is crossing the line. When it gets to that point, you know that from that point, from where they step on the line, they have very little room left. So that means you have a better chance of trapping them, but no one ever uses that to their advantage. Not only that, if you know yourself very well, in MMA especially, and it gets to where they're close to they're almost at the cage, at the edge of the cage, and you step on the line. Now you know that you can throw a certain kick from that point on. The same thing happens with the square ring. There's usually another square in the middle, and if not, the logos are set in a certain area away from the edges and a certain area away from the middle. And that goes to show you can use those as markers to tell you how much, how hard, how fast, how much you should penetrate, all these things. You see what I'm saying? No gym, not a single fucking gym in my 30 years of experience have ever brought that up. And they won't, because they don't have time to look into these things. They only have time to provide for their clients, students, fighters, whatever it may be. But they don't have time to look into these other things like neuroplasticity and things about the brain and stuff like that, and fight physiologically and biochemistry and all these things that truly make a difference. I learned all this from Miyamoto Musashi, who learned it from nature, literally looking at nature, seeing animals fight and things like that. And that's how he learned how to eliminate bad ronin, meaning the bully samurais that would try to take advantage of older people and things like that. And he would go around and kill those, eliminate them. So, anyhow, power. I'm gonna have to back up. Hopefully, you guys can hear me well enough. So, simple, simple, simple. I don't need to teach you how to punch. Okay, you've been doing the punching motion since when you were at least a year and a half, when you were able to grab a ball and throw the ball at your parent, at your brother, sister, neighbor, whatever it may be. That motion is a punching motion. Okay, when you grab something and throw it, it's still that motion. Or swimming is still that motion. Throwing a basketball is still that motion of punching. Okay, so I don't need to show you how to punch. Okay, there is certain tips you need to look into, subtleties to incorporate to be able to perform, function, and process at the elite level. So, you know how to punch, all that. Forget about the jab straight and all that stuff. We're gonna go with the hooks and uppercuts, okay? Because those are the ones that generate the true power. Okay, the straight, yeah, it can generate a lot of power, but that you have to take. So right here, if this is, yeah, you can see it. If this is my target distance, number one thing is always dictate the range. Never let your opponent dictate the range, especially, you can't see it, but it's tall. Especially if they're tall. They're going to have long arms, okay? So never let a tall guy dictate the range, okay? So now, from right here, I'm at that opponent's range where he can barely touch me, okay? And right here, I can't even hit him, okay? But I'm at my level to where I know his arms will not punch me. Again, look how long they are. See? That would hit me, but I can easily just lean back a little bit. Okay, here we go. So if there's a punch coming, you never really want to lean back so much. Many great elite boxers do it, but they can get away with it. But beginners, this is mainly for beginners, don't lean back. Because if your opponent sees that, they throw that hook, they can still come in and then hang on you. If you lean back and they hang on you, now your lower back is going to get tampered with to where you might risk pulling a muscle, pinching a nerve or something, and that's going to slow you down for the rest of the fight. Okay, so you really don't want to lean back unless you absolutely must for whatever XYZ reason. Not only that, you never want to go straight back, especially with the tall fighter because they're gonna just press forward and hit. They're still gonna hit you. Okay, so what you want to do, especially as a shorter boxer, depending on how big your opponent is, all right, a hook is coming. You don't want to lean back, like I said. You might want to block it, but the best thing to do is let them make mistakes, and then you capitalize on it. So if that punch is coming, don't duck either, because now your neck is in range, and now you're not seeing what your next opponent's move is, and now you can get an uppercut, all kinds of things. So don't move your head unless you absolutely have to. Okay, what is your head attached to? So if a punch is coming, boom, that's all you need to do, and then your equilibrium is never messed up. Okay, if you ever try to shoot a moving target with an actual gun or rifle, well, let me rephrase. Let me get back. You can be one of the best shooters with a handgun or rifle, right, at the range. But if you have the opportunity to shoot something safely, not a person or anything like that, but maybe somehow set up something to where it's a moving target, simple, just one direction. Even if you practice, you're still gonna. Even if you're the best shooter, you're still gonna have a more difficult time shooting that moving target, even if you're a great shooter, than you would naturally if it's stationary target, right? So if you're shooting a moving target, it's difficult. If you do this with your head to try to weave and bob, your vision is not focused on the center of where your attention should be, meaning your opponent. Because you're it's just like when you do an old camera, it has that vision blur. Well, that goes to show you'll be that much more behind yourself by trying to do all these flashing movements with your head, because you won't be able to have your balance and equilibrium. But if you move with your legs, look how much my head is moving. Okay, but my technical head never moved from my neck. Okay, it stayed there, and that means no matter where I go, I can focus on you. Okay, because I'm not doing this, and I'm not, because no matter what, if I look this way, my attention is going that way. So my vision is trying to see that way, my periphery is trying to see that way, and then when I do this, my periphery is trying to catch up to my vision. Same thing there, every which way. But if I'm here doing this, my vision is always there with you. Notice how sometimes boxers do this, especially in the beginning. Can you see my eyes? No. That means I cannot see what you're gonna punch me with, and you can easily give me an uppercut, or again, you can easily, if someone does that to you, just go on them. It's not a weak thing. It's not that you're holding on to because you're in trouble. Especially if you see them doing that all the time, just say, "All right, fuck it." Just pretend you're about to jab, and man, grab them and just fucking lay on them. Hey, it's not cheating. What's that gonna do to the opponent? Lactic acid is gonna be building up, okay, because you're pressing on them, and eventually his legs are gonna slow down, and eventually he won't be able to retreat. The last thing I was gonna tell you about the punching when it comes, the other thing you can do is, I'm gonna have to do it this way, yeah, this way. So if the punch is coming, all you need to do is step away from the side. So if this is the left side, my left, their left is coming from my right side. I'm gonna go towards the left and then step back. Look how much distance I have. Not only that, when I did that motion, step open up, back. As soon as I land, boom, I can use that push as a mild form of plyometrics, boom, to throw that in. Okay? So once again, this is what it looked like. All I did was bam, bam. And this is what it looked like. Bam, bam. All that space with two simple motions. All right, like that. And not only that, last thing is always, once you create the distance, the space, so that you're safe, bam, bam, even after the punch comes, you always, especially through the power side, you always want to go do the second bob or weave or move towards the side the punch came from. So that punch is coming from my right side, whether it misses or not. Even if it's coming here, instead of going down only, okay, I'm gonna go down and to the side the punch came from. Okay, instead of just going down, okay, I'm gonna go down and over the way the punch came, because now here his arm is way that way, and what do I have here? All his back. As long as I don't punch him in the back of the head, I'm good to go. It's not my fault he gave me his back. And right here I can give a nasty side shot to the ribs, and then from there, whatever they do, I still have enough to hit them right in the freaking liver. Once they're done, I don't even have to hit them hard. Once they're done, they're gonna be so. Even if I didn't hurt them, they're not gonna have much gas. Yeah, gas meaning air in them. Because what happens when you throw a hook, a hard hook? Ha! Most people scream. Not only that, this takes a lot of power, especially if you hit the person. It takes a lot of strength away from you because now you have to move that entire body over. Okay, so you want to go over, bam. And then from here, now to go back to your position of power, bam, right? You came over, bam. Now you're gonna, with this momentum to get back to the position of power, you're gonna go bam, or bam, or bam, before you come back to the position of power. So once again, boom, come over, boom, come back, out. Same thing for southpaws. Just bend those knees. Don't duck. Don't move your head only. Too much risk. You're messing your own equilibrium once you do this because this is not natural. As you can see, I lost my balance right there that quick. But if you do this with your legs, your head is never compromised. Your brain does not need to adapt to anything. If you're doing all this flashy stuff and jumping around and all this, your brain needs to put up with it. Not to take anything away from the number one legend of all time, Muhammad Ali. Look how much he would dance like a, fly like a butterfly and sting like a bee, right? But all that motion, all that flashiness, all that ego, look what it got him in the end. Okay, meaning all that flashiness, remember what he would do? Right? And then boom, boom. Sometimes he would get hit, but sometimes it would be like boom, punching, boom, 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 and he's taking them. He's not really even moving them to show your opponent, look, your punches ain't doing shit. But those punches is what gave him TBI, a traumatic brain injury. That's why he started slurring his words. They wanted to blame it on Alzheimer's and all these other things, but no, it had to do with hit, hit, hit. What do you think Junior Seau, number 55, the great legend of football, okay, from the San Diego Chargers, what do you think I was going to say, what do you think he murdered himself? He was murdered, but he naturally did attempt suicide. He was murdered because if he would have spoken about what really went on with his brain, NFL will go down. The National Football League will go down. Why? Because every single hit, you get TBI. Imagine Junior Seau, how old he was. He wasn't crazy old, but I'm saying, I guarantee you he was playing since Pop Warner. I guarantee you. And he took all those hits. And after several years, how big were those hits? They were coming from other fridges running at you at least 35 miles an hour. 35 miles, hit together, that's 60 miles every single time he played. At least 60 times every single day that he played. That gave him TBI, traumatic brain injury. This is why he killed himself or he was murdered. You know why I say that? If he wasn't murdered, if they weren't trying to hide that, his restaurants will still be around. And it has nothing to do with, he died, so there was no one else that can take care of it. Not BS. They just didn't want to leave that behind because they didn't want people to notice. Hey, who's Seau? Meaning the ones that don't know who Seau is. And then when they look into it, like, whoa. And then when they look into it, they'll be like, oh, he died because of suicide. Oh, he's suicide because he was depressed and he was traumatized all the time. PTSD. He had PTSD from football. That's traumatic stuff that happens over and over and over. You don't have to be in Iraq in war to have PTSD. Okay, even animals have PTSD, meaning they face trauma over and over and over from a bad owner, or uh, um, even a man from an abusive girlfriend, or vice versa. Okay, that's PTSD to a degree. We all have it. So it works for southpaw. It works for orthodox, where you bend from the knees. Okay, but your head is still on your opponent. Okay, but look how much I go down now. Here, I can explode up. I can explode up with a crazy uppercut. So down and boom. Down, crouch. I'm already down, and then from here, you can throw many different things. So, power. You're already seeing what to do against the power if it's coming to you. Now, say the punch comes, boom, I'm over. Look at my knees. Look how much my knees are moving. And they're moving the way I want my head or my power or my focus to go to. So if I want my head to go to the right, I'm gonna go slightly to my left. I'm gonna go slightly to my right first to get the momentum to go hard left. Okay, so same thing with the punching. You go down. If you're gonna throw the hook, left hook towards my right, it's the opposite for you. It's looking like it's the opposite, meaning it's going towards the left. So I'm gonna point my knee towards the right because I want to hit towards the right. So if I don't pivot the knee, look how much the bag moves. It's very difficult, and I'm gonna actually try to position myself in a different spot, which is not good. But I'm just gonna try to do that to take power out without moving my entire body, only using my arm. So see how I would naturally be here, but now I'm gonna try it from here. And I can get more power that way, but this is not natural for me to stand here. I have to be here. So here, where I'm at there, if this is it, look at my shoulders at. I have no power there. But if I'm here, I have all this from here to go to here, boom. Okay, but I'm not gonna step like that. But I'm just saying, look how much motion. So if I'm punching from here and I'm trying to punch this thing here, like this is not gonna move much, my shoulder. But if it's over here, it's gonna move all this into it. So this is why, boom, you come, and the punch is over already. Now you're gonna point the knee. So you're here, point the knee. Notice how much this came off from my guard. All right, same thing here, same motion. All right, I'm gonna do the same thing right now. Same thing, just like that. Instead of trying to go like that, or even like that, see how much open I am on this side? But if I do this, see how much open I am, right? Watch how much I'm gonna move that bag using my legs, but not moving my arm too much away from my guard. And this one's always here, always. Even if it's southpaw, it's the same thing. This one's always here on my chin, covering my body as well. This one, see? And they don't teach this in boxing. This is not boxing. It's not boxing. This is from bare knuckle fighting. And bare knuckle, you have to stay an awkward tightness. Awkward tightness. Because any little punch will tear the hell out of your face up into pieces, okay? Because there is no protection. So you got to cover up better. So if you do this, yeah, you might hit them, but any little hit will tear you up easily. Any little hit. So this is why you want to fight a certain way. This is why the old school, they will fight like this, because it's easier to throw that uppercut in between any guard, even a tight peekaboo guard. The uppercut is the one that goes in easily. So if you're like this, I have to show it to you. So if you're like this, I mean, even me, I love street fighting, but I didn't understand this concept until about 5 years ago. Okay, I was like, I would think like, man, that's, and I would try it. I'm like, there's no way I could punch like this to throw a lot of power. But that's the thing. In bare knuckle fighting, you don't need much power to mess with their equilibrium to make them stop or give up or knock them out. But from here, set up like this instead of like this, like normal we're taught, or so like that, they were like that. Kind of weird, extended out, right? Like that. Well, from here, I can easily go just like that. That's it. So see, I know it looks weird, but now I don't have to do this. Okay, and that's really weird. That's not even a proper uppercut. But to do a proper uppercut, look how much I had to go down and all that stuff, right? Just to get that arm to scoop under there. But if you're already here, you're already under their guard, meaning this guard, whatever. You're already under their guard, and then, whew, that's it. That's all you do. And hitting them with that, again, you don't have to hit them hard. Anywhere here, it messes their equilibrium easier. But in boxing, you can't really do that because of the protection and all that. So there's other ways you can get away with punching this way. You can, this won't do anything. Even at your hardest, this won't do anything in boxing. I don't care if you're the master bare knuckle fighting. If you only do this only against a boxer, you'll never win. But a bare knuckle fighter will always beat a boxer, okay? Because we have a different mentality. A true bare knuckle fighter. A bare knuckle fighter is one that has fought before and has the confidence. And we have a different mentality than boxers do. Boxers, you have to train. There's things involved in boxing. You have to keep the boxers safe since the beginning to the end, meaning when they're children, Olympics, all that stuff. And bare knuckle fighting, hey, you gotta get rid of that fighter as quick as possible because you don't know if he has a knife, a gun, or his buddies are hidden, are coming, or whatever. So you need to get over with that really quick. And without protection, you can cut. If you punch properly, boom, twist. That's gonna tear the skin up, and then your opponent now has a huge cut in their face, all this blood going in their eyes. They're gonna give up really quick if they're not fucking crazy. Because no one's gonna want to have that much blood and all that. And trust me, out of many fights against big dudes, I freaking knock them down. I tell them to get up, and I smile at them, and I hit them again, boom, boom. All these things, leave them all mangled and stuff. And then after a while, I just ask them, "You want to keep going?" And they're like, "No, man." They just like walk away. And I'm not an egotistical guy and start talking shit or kick them in the ass or something. No, but I'm just saying, these methods truly work. So last thing, I'm just gonna, so after that, the power, I'm gonna put a little bit more on the power issue real quick. And then from there is one last time controlling the distance with the jabs and stuff like that. And we'll be good for today. And I need to go to my actual training because this is not training for me. Are you kidding me? This is nothing of output of what I normally do. So, and I know I've been MIA, but trust me, you're gonna love my channel for one, and even if this gets taken down because of the information I spread, trust me, all these other outlets, yeah, I wasn't supposed to say it, but I'm working on many projects by myself. It sucks because no one can see this vision that I'm doing, but I'm gonna have my own YouTube platform, my own social network platform. I mean, it's not that I already have it, but I've been working on it for a long time. And very soon I'm going to release it. So I'm going to need some of you to come over to that if you don't want to be censored. And literally, it's just like YouTube. Everything. The only other thing is on mine, it has a tip button on it so that you can be tipped. And not only that, you can also offer courses. So if you're a well-seasoned fighter, whether it's boxer or MMA or even BKFC, and you want to put little tutorials together and you want to sell them straight to channel, you can do that through my platform that I have been working on for years. Wait till you see everything that I have, guys. You're going to be like, wait, nah, man, there's no way you did all this by yourself. There's no way you are as old as you are. There's no way you've been through all that shit and you're doing this. There's no way. You should be crazy, insane, in pain, and all these things. And yeah, I am, except for insane. But I'm always in pain because of what I've been through in war. I know it doesn't look like it, but I am very, very disabled internally. I know it doesn't look like it, but trust me. 8 years of military commitment, 550 combat missions, been blown up many times, two of which were with SVB IEDs, meaning the car bombs, suicide bomber and a car bomb full of explosives. Everybody was seriously injured. Nothing happened to me. But many times I was blown up, all kinds of stuff. I shouldn't be doing what I'm doing. I shouldn't be saying what I'm saying. I shouldn't, but I am. This is how effective my methods are, have been, and will be. All right, so again, same thing. The only thing that you don't need to do anything with is somebody. Yeah, be careful, buddy. I don't want to step on you. I haven't really had a chance to play with him, so he wants me over here. He wants me to play with him. Sorry, buddy. So he helps me out. You see that? He's gonna come back, and then he gives me a target. Obviously, it's not realistic because it's so low, but still, it's target acquisition. Knockout. So, anyways, careful, buddy. So, jab is the only one you really can't point the knee to, because you can do it with the straight. Because if you throw a jab with this one, the straight, if you go down this way, you're moving the knee towards your opponent. Yeah. So, if you don't move your knee like that, if you don't squash the bug, and almost as if you're trying to literally take a knee, okay? But don't take a knee. Never take a knee. Taking a knee is surrendering. Fuck that. You're not gonna surrender. So, if you don't do that, check this out. Meaning, if I don't drive the knee down, look how much power comes out. See how I hardly didn't move. Now I'm gonna add only the knee. After that, I'm gonna add the knee and controlling the distance, disrupting the center of gravity by going into the opponent, into the bag, which equates the opponent. But again, notice how I'm gonna go normal, then drive the knee down, and then full motion. You tell me which one looks like it's gonna hurt the most. That was without the knee. That was with the knee. Now I'm going to control the distance with the knee with everything. And I even wait for it to come to me. You tell me which one you think is going to hurt the most. Not only that, that last one did not waste more energy than the first one. And in fact, in the first one, I was feeling very insecure because if you do this, try to hit hard on your toes, it feels nasty if you can't really move your body because I'm losing my balance and I can't punch hard. It might look fast and crazy. It's not even that fast, but it might be a little bit snappy and all that, but it's not cool. But if I move around, right, everything, I feel more comfortable throwing fast combinations because bam, bam, boom, I lose my balance here. If I don't adjust in some certain way, other than boom, 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 try to come back, it takes a lot of energy to move your entire body back again. But if I go here and then I step forward, I'm falling forward without wasting energy. Not only that, boom, 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 bam. I feel I'm in the center of gravity again, but now I'm ready to hit freaking hard without wasting energy. But if I don't step and do it from here, I gotta waste all this energy to come back after all this force went this way, and now I gotta bring it back that way. And see right there, I took a tiny step because it feels natural. But if I do a big one, hook, what if you miss? Because what if they do the same thing I showed you of ducking under, right? So you can bait them. Yeah, pretend you're gonna throw a big hook, which they will evade. And even if they evade it exactly how you did, meaning exactly the way I showed you, they go down. Ha! Right here, I can still hit them downward or upward, down. It sucks. I don't mean to sound arrogant, but I'm not even hitting it hard as I can, and this thing's already breaking down, and this thing is at least 4 feet in the ground. You don't believe me? Okay, this is dug in, this black thing, black PVC pipe, and it's down that way so that I can do all these motions, right? And then like MMA, I give elbows, and then bear hug to work out the legs. From here, I can do shoulder shrugs, knee, again. So you get a full all over workout, not just not just punching. I really, I'm disgusted by many of you professional gyms out there, and that's all you guys do over and over and over and over, just hit in front of a bag. But there's many more things you can be doing neuroplasticity wise as you're hitting. Say for instance, and some of you are gonna give me shit for this because you are casuals like Lomachenko. Look at the training he does. That's neuroplasticity happening as he's training. And he should have won against Lopez, but I called it. I called it that Lopez was going to win for many different reasons. And look at the video, and you're going to be like, that doesn't make sense, but you were right. So I was to show you what I mean when I say I'm not a boxer. I'm not trying to teach you to be a boxer. I'm teaching you to have confidence, to have the warrior within come out in a benevolent way so that you're seeking for peace and peace only, and you're not trying to disrupt anyone else's opportunity to do the same. Okay, because other gyms, they don't do that. They just train, teach you to be a maniac through that endurance and being able to intimidate, and that's it. They only teach you to break people's faces. That's about it. One thing I want to point out, a lot of jiu-jitsu gyms, they're the only ones that really are actually holistic, if you may. Not all, but some the gyms that I've seen when I went to, the jiu-jitsu ones are the only ones that really have been holistic. All the other ones has just been old school, just grunge. Even if it's a beautiful, top-notch, higher-end gym, they're not holistic. They don't add everything. It's just either they try to put you in pain, because if you're not in pain, they're not doing their job well enough, which is BS. You shouldn't get yourself into pain in order to get progress. You can get progress without the pain, but you do need a shock. You do need to add an overload. Okay, and this is why I say you don't need to punch crazy hard. Like right now, I didn't punch hard, and look how it sounded, look how it moved. You can hear that it's breaking already. Again, I'm not bragging, I'm just saying. And it's not because I punch hard with my arm. No, it's because I'm sending 156 pounds into it by moving my whole body into it. Look at that, and my guard is still here. So I'm not just punching with my arm, which is only like 12, 13 pounds, if that, of weight coming with 20 pounds of force. But if I do 156 pounds into it, with that same 20 pounds of force, that 20 pounds of force now becomes about 70 pounds of force That's aside from the 156 pounds coming at you. So even if you block, 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 I'm right there now. And not only did I come with all this, made you block, 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 waste, waste, waste oxygen, but now right here, I'm inside and I can do phenomenal inside fighting because I love to fight inside the phone booths. Obviously, not literally, but I'm saying I love to inside fight, especially against the tall fighters. Because tall fighters, the way you're supposed to punch, try to punch yourself, meaning with the face of your fist. It's impossible. So if you're inside your opponent and you're like hitting them, they can't punch you properly. Meaning if I had a little short guy here at my chest, I can't punch him properly. I have to grab him and push him and then hit him. You see what I'm saying? Hopefully that makes sense. Because yeah, they can Peter patter you. Meaning if the person's here, I can try to hit them this way, but that's not going to hurt them. I have to push them to hit them with the face of my fist. So now, let's see. We did the power. Now I'm going to do a few little drills real quick on how you can drill the jab for one, jab straight. Because remember, this is for beginners overall. But again, even some of you professionals might see some subtleties that you're going to be like, wow, I never seen it that way, how the way he pointed it out. But I've always been doing that. But now that I know and I hear what he said with that neuroplasticity, blah, 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 now I am empowered because now I'm supernatural. Because now I have an understanding of what my power truly is. I'm not just a natural, strong, fast fighter that's gifted or whatever. I'm not talking about me. I'm just saying, I'm just playing the role play of me talking as you in a sense. So, always disrupt their center of gravity, especially one that's taller than you. Because if you get lower, just like in football, to take out that big center that's the size of a bridge, you gotta get lower than them, so because it's easier to pick up with your entire legs instead of just picking up with your waist. You're gonna hurt your back. Okay, so get in there with the center of gravity. Now you're low, so that you can get back to a position of power. Right here, you can come up with the uppercut, bam, boom, get away. So again, bam, bam, boom, 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 boom. Okay, so now I'm going to drill the jab, keeping in mind the distance concept. I'm going to show you first jabbing without moving, just jabbing. Then I'm going to show you jabbing with the step, which is the only equivalent to pointing the knee the way you want your punch to go to. And lastly, I'm going to do 1, 1, and then another jab. But it's like a setup and then going in, meaning stepping in with my whole body. Because again, a jab's a jab. But if you throw a jab with your whole body, now it becomes a spear, a deadly spear. So that's without moving. Now I'm gonna step into it. See how much it moved already? Yeah, you can see it. Even if I double it up, see, I'm moving into it, sometimes deep, sometimes barely, but my foot is still planted. But right now, I'm gonna move my foot to where it ends up here, just about. Look how close I am. So that means what? When I punch, look how much my force is gonna go. Opposed to punching from here, my force stops there. Right, so now I'm gonna step in. All right, huge difference. Now I'm gonna set it up so that I can drive my spear in. Huge difference, right? Same thing goes for southpaws. All right, now I'm gonna do same concepts without moving, foot planted, then the lead foot's going to be moving in different ways. Then lastly, I'm going to drive in as I'm doing the 1, 2 drill. Okay? So, That's without moving much. I know I jumped a little bit here and there, but I didn't move into it much. Now I'm gonna try to somewhat keep my uh, rear foot planted, and the front one's gonna move a little here and there, but I'm not gonna move both of them into it. Okay. All right. And lastly, see, this is why I say you shouldn't hit hard. I can already feel, and I'm very well protected, but I can already feel my side over here trying to um, tense up, I should say. So it's not like broken, fractured, injured. No, it's just really tense from the shock, from me punching it too hard. Again, I didn't hurt myself. I didn't punch wrong. Nothing. Actually, in the beginning, when I went kind of all out a little bit, I kind of did punch a little bit because I kind of naturally, the ego kicked in, and I was loving the way I was feeling. And there was a few times where I did try to punch it hard, um, and I did hit a little bit slightly off. Um, but once I take the gloves off, that's the next thing I'm gonna show you guys is therapy, uh, how to rehabilitate, okay, your body, and you'll see. There's many when you hear what I have to say, you're gonna be like, wait, so I didn't need surgery, or wait, my boxer did not need surgery. You don't, guys. Especially if you had several years of experiences, like say for instance Teofimo Lopez. Recently, remember he was complaining about his shoulder, especially after the Lomachenko fight, that he might, I think he did actually get the surgery, but that he might need surgery in his shoulder or something like that. And all it is, guys, is calcium deposits that you can literally eliminate little by little. It takes time, but you can eliminate it just like you do when you knead away a knot, meaning in your muscle. The same thing will happen with that calcium deposit that is like the size of a BB, and it could be in different places. Usually, it's where the bone meets and the ligament and tendon area, where the muscle meets where it attaches to the bone. That's where calcium deposits tend to accumulate. We have them in our lower backs, in our necks, in our shoulders, in our elbows, in our wrist. That's the true corporate tunnel syndrome, corporate of it. It's a few. Excuse me, my hair is getting out of the way. If you alleviate that tension that builds up, you're gonna prevent those things from happening. Okay, but anyhow, so I'm gonna do that last one too. Yeah, haven't done it. So this one going in, penetrating through. Look how much it moved. And again, it's the same for southpaws. Okay, and lastly, I'm going to show you 1, 2, 3. Jab, cross, hook. Alternate. 1, 2, 3. Left, right, left. If you're a righty, orthodox. If you're a southpaw, it's right, left, right. Right as a jab, left as a straight, right as an uppercut. Alternating. Okay? Same thing. First, without moving, planted. Second, I'm going to move the lead foot into however I feel comfortable. And lastly, I'm going to penetrate through, like Bolzum. What's his name? Zangit. I think. No, what was his name? Goodness, Bison. Bison from Street Fighter. Remember how he would get off like about a foot and a half off the ground, and he would kind of like slide and then do this crazy kicks or punch. You're gonna see that in a little bit. So planted. Now I'm gonna move my lead foot. The bag, I'm hitting the bag decently hard. That'll hurt opponents, but is the bag moving much? No. That goes to show you, well, get this. When you see the next present demonstration, you will see how much the bag moves, which tells you how much force is really going into it. Okay, aside from the punching power, punching speed, force from the whole body is going into it. Now we're gonna do whole body. See how much the bag moves down? And it's not necessarily that I'm pushing it, no, because I'm swinging. I'm not doing this. That's pushing it. No, I'm punching it, and that's why it moves. And that bag is 75 pounds or something, 80-pound bag. You might have had people ask me for another demonstrations years back, bro, how heavy is that bag? And then when I tell them, it's like, that's bullshit. There's no way that bag's that heavy because of the way it's moving around like crazy. So, anything else? And then the last thing is the snappiness into it. So, meaning I'm gonna do with the straight, just like that, right? Nothing else. I'm not gonna try to move everything. It's just snappy, right? So I'm gonna do the hit, then I'm gonna snap back, and then I'm gonna stab, meaning and kind of stay there for a split second. I'm not gonna try to be realistic or stab and then come back right away. See how quick my guard got back? I'm just gonna stab and keep it there, so you can see what it looks like. And then last one would be everything full penetrating. Again, this one's gonna be an actual little drill, so I'm gonna get it closer and point out a few things so that you can hear me and I don't have to come back and forth. Okay. So remember, keep all the concepts, try all of them. Just this is just tapping without the snap. And plant it. Now I'm gonna go forward. Well, I'm not trying to follow through. I'm not trying to snap back. I'm just punching normal. With that step forward. Notice the cadence. I had to take a little bit longer because I had to retract and then explode back, opposed to just sitting here. Right? That's not fast, but I'm just saying the cadence of it. Right? So now to step forward, it takes longer because I had to come back so I can explode forward. I can do a double here, but there's no power there and you're off position. So you have to come back for that split second to either do that or doesn't matter what. So now I'm gonna do the drill. Sorry, I was supposed to do it with this one. So notice I'm not going fast. I'm not going hard. The bag is moving more than I was trying when I was hitting it hard. So that goes to show you when I'm not going hard, I'm positioning it properly. When I'm going hard, I'm not positioning it properly every single time because you're going hard, you're going fast, you're less careful. Right here, I'm careful. So I'm placing it in the center and everything properly. So that's how the bag moves easily. Now I'm going to step into it. Look how much more. Now I'm going to stab. Now I'm going to follow through. Notice how I do this little small feint to make them think that this is coming like a real jab. But this is making the shoulder actually go back just a tiny little bit more to get it cocked. Because if I don't do that, well, I won't, but most will do this. If it's a jab, they'll do this. Notice? To an elite boxer, they will see that before you even try to throw it out and they will counter you. But if you're straight, they can't see it coming. And if you don't project your punches, opposed to, so see how I'm breathing, loading up to give that haymaker. Get out of that habit with these drills. Not going fast, not going hard, getting the proper distance. It's too close, even though I can hit it, even though I can give it a lot of power. This is not proper to where here I got full extension and I'm practicing my full extension at all times, especially the snap, because now look how quick that guard was back right on my chin. Again, I'm not punching hard. It may seem like I am, but I'm not punching hard because then you risk injury. And even if you're an orthodox fighter, this is what I mean. In boxing, every boxing gym and most MMA gyms are totally against this. They will tell you, no. Some would be like, yeah, if you can get away with it, cool. But since I'm training you, no. Why? Because it truly is. Makes it difficult to really retain the rest. And this is why I lost my train of thought. Where was I? On the... Oh, goodness. Oh, yeah. If you're an orthodox, try it southpaw. This is where the neuroplasticity will come in. Even if you're not doing it properly, you're going to connect the left and right brain hemispheres. This is, if you're an orthodox, this is completely new, and if you're doing it wrong, it doesn't matter. As long as you're trying and you're going through with it for over 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes on the opposite way, especially you professional fighters, train the opposite way even before your fight. Trust me, it may sound crazy, but once you get into the gym, and of course on the last week go back to nothing but your normal stance, but when you go into the actual fight, the day of the fight, your brain will be supernatural, will be in a whole different level, and your normal fighting will be amplified immensely. And if you get rocked, which in how reality you should, I'm not saying you should let yourself get rocked, but if you're in a ring, you should have an opposition that's really testing you and challenging you. You should want to get rocked and learn and know how to, not learn because by that point you already know, but I'm saying get more and more used to, I'm not saying take a risk taking a shot to the head. No, I'm just saying, I forgot what I was trying to say because I'm tired and I still want to work out a little bit more because I want to throw kicks, I want to throw elbows, I want to do all that. But right now it's only boxing. I gotta stick to the word. All right, I kept the. Let me see if anybody's written. But I'm basically done. You guys already seen everything. Look at that. I don't know if you can see it, but there's steam. Yeah, you probably can't see it, but there's steam coming out of my hand. So, anyways. Oh, cool. At least 3 people are watching. Maybe, I don't know if you guys are watching. If you are actually technically watching, I don't see why you would just have the channel on. But thank you for doing so. Hopefully, I have entertained you enough with my weird, unconventional methods and talking and strategies and methodologies and all that. So, pretty soon, I know I keep saying it, but pretty soon, all this is being revamped, all this. And eventually, some of you, not all of you, but some of you will migrate to my platform. I literally have my own platform that has exactly like YouTube, but it has extra options to it. And you're going to love my platform. A real freaking platform, guys. That you can, just like YouTube, you can have your own account. You can upload your own videos. You can even add a tip button in your actual page. Okay, you can offer courses like tutorials and things like that, so you will supplement your income through my platforms. I have several actually. One is for strictly for video. Another one is for mixed media. Another one is social networking, and it's crazy. But yes, I have all this, and I'm about to release it very soon. This is why I've been so MIA. Okay, so trust me, guys, you're gonna love what I have to bring, especially with all this silly censorship happening here. This is why I'm hardly ever on anymore. This is why I had nearly a 6 year hiatus, even though I have, and even in those 6 years, I had 3 million views, almost 3 million views, almost 10,000 subscribers, without really doing much because they were damping my inspiration. They were trying to make me a slave of the system, and I said, nope, I'm not gonna do that. I could by now I could have been a millionaire through this. But no, money doesn't mean shit to me. All right, what means more to me is empowering my community, whether it's here within a few miles or in my world, in a sense. If the person's in Australia or Germany, wherever they may be. So anyhow, that's what I'm more in tune with, um, and I still will become a millionaire. um, but anyhow, gotta get going. I'm gonna Yeah, I'll go ahead and sign off with. I'm gonna put a little bit of music on as I'm doing some MMA stuff, maybe for like 5 minutes, and then I'll shut this off. But I'm gonna keep going. So let's see if there's any comments. Oh, Mr. Raven, I was about to sign off. How's it going, brother? Yes, thank you so much, Salame. Um, I'll check one last time before I sign off. But like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and finally get to a little bit of my training. I'm not done. I'm just gonna show you guys maybe like 5, 10, not even 10 minutes, like 5 minutes, and then you can't see him. But I gotta get back to this little guy. He's still waiting for me. We still gotta do our training. But anyways, just got notification. Wow, that's crazy. I've been on for nearly 2 hours, and you barely got the notification. Now, those of you who are seeing this, now you see what I mean about this, how much I'm being censored. And it's not just about me, I'm being censored. No, a lot of us are. But I'm just saying, look at what happened. I've been on for 2 hours, and Mr. Raven follows me pretty good, right? Meaning he should be getting these notifications because he follows me decently. Like every time he's always checking in on my channel, things like that. So that means he should get a notification for sure right away, 10 minutes in, the latest. But no, he barely got the notification right now. So because of this, I have been designing for years. I have been designing my own video sharing platform again, and you'll be able to make money not the way you do it here. Right here, they're taking your money. This is why I stopped working through here, because I wasn't getting much at all for my hard work, and they were taking it all. Okay, so I said, nah, I'm not gonna. Like I said, I could have easily become a millionaire, but then I would have been a slave to them. I would have, in a sense, sold my soul. Sell my soul to them, because I wouldn't be happy, even though I had a lot of money, even though I would have a Maserati or whatever it may be. I still wouldn't be able to enjoy it. I wouldn't. But I'm still going to become a millionaire. Actually, no, more than a millionaire. You'll see. You'll freaking see. So, anyways, gotta get going. I'm gonna do my last little bag routine real quick. Thank you so much, Mr. Raven, for sticking in for a few minutes. I think you will enjoy this one. Um, it might not be anything new to you, but you will enjoy how I was talking about my street fights and things like that, because I know you were a street fighter too. Growing up, I think you had more fights than I did actually, and I've had an insane amount of fights. So, and plus, not to insult you, but you're older than me, so I can understand how you would have more experiences and stuff. But anyways, oh, mouthpiece in. Oh, look at that! I'm frozen already. That means they cut me off already. You see what I mean? On my side, it shows it good. On the YouTube side, I'm frozen already. Bells clicked on and set for all. Yep, Turkey too. Behaving badly will catch a replay. Yeah, definitely. So, like I was saying, Mr. Raven, I have my own video sharing platform coming. I already have it. I just been working on it, and very soon I'm gonna launch it. So I'm gonna need you to add your videos or share that information with others. But it's not gonna be completely extremely open. It's gonna be for intellectual people that have the ability and patience to not be driven or be guided to do stupid things and troll and talk shit about others. No, my platform is going to be nothing but for inspiration and influencing, empowering, healing. All right, helping those in need, like in trauma and all that. Um, I gotta go back in. I don't understand why this is still frozen.
Just got notification.
Okay. Okay. Good. Bells click. Old. Yep. Shoot. Fights. You're still up. Nice. Nice. Okay. Yeah, I just accidentally hit the pause button on my and on this one. I gotta go rinse this off real quick. I'll be right back. I just dropped it, and then just gonna do a quick little finishing off, and I'm done with my transmission for today. But a lot is coming, and trust me, you're gonna love what I had to offer. So I'll be back in a bit. All right. So hopefully the music shouldn't be on too loud. I'm even gonna lower it. I'm actually gonna take it off because you probably already heard it enough, and it's on the way right now, anyways. So yep. So hopefully you should be able to hear me now. All good. And now I'm gonna go ahead and finish off. Um, and thank you for joining me. I'll check in one last time before I fully sign off. I'm just gonna hit the bag a few times. MMA style, release a lot in my own way with the mouthpiece in. Just want to show you, I still have my mouthpiece in. Still have an oxygen. Always neutralize those thoughts. Regulate that heart rate. Never think that was too easy. That was too hard. Nothing. Neutralize those thoughts. Regulate that heart rate. Or I should say, regulate the heart rate by neutralizing those thoughts. Take a deep breath into your nose, holding it. Release it nice and slowly. And that time, about 25 seconds or so, I still have 35 more. And in those 25 seconds, I can still listen to my corner. And in the last half of the 1 minute break, my corner can give me the final, most important information. In the beginning, it should be, hey, water. All right, your corner man, this is what they should do. If it's 2 or 3, usually it should be 3, but your coach should be directing you, possibly giving you water. If your coach is not doing that, the other guy should giving you water. And if your coach is giving you water, that other guy should be massaging you, because that will maximize your circulation. It will alleviate tension, which will give you back speed and focus and proper processing. Not processing, but reaction time. Because the processing will be up here no matter what, because you're conditioned, you're trained, right? But this might not execute in time. But if you neutralize those thoughts, regulate that heart rate all the time, you're going to be maximized. If you're always blasting yourself in through your nose, out through your mouth with oxygen. You go in through your nose, out through your nose, but never go unless your nose is broken. If your nose is broken, never try to sneeze out. When you do that, you're done. You definitely won't be able to breathe at all, and you're going to make things worse for your brain, because now you have less oxygen, and you still have to keep fighting if you don't give up. Trust me, without the blowing out, that happened to me before. Nose broken, I still had to keep going. And I won the fight still, twice. Meaning it happened in 2 different occasions, about 2 years different apart. But broke my nose in the ring, yeah, but kept going. Broke my nose in jiu-jitsu, but kept going. So, does it look like my nose has been broken? Not only that, the last time I broke my nose, it was around Christmas time. There was leave. I was in the military still, doing combatives, that type of Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Gracie lineage is who they taught, who taught the army combatives. So the doctors, the main surgeon the one that can take care of me in the on base, he was gone for about 4 or 5 days. So by the time he came back, my nose was already somewhat healed up. So what had to happen? He had to stick a rod this big, and at least that much, believe it or not, went inside my nose. And he's like, I'm gonna count to 3, and on the 3rd, I'm sorry, but I had to break it to move it to where it's supposed to be. And I was like, okay, cool, whatever. I'm already in pain, you know. And he's like, 1, 2, crack, and I was like, oh, it was the worst pain I felt ever, because it rattled my entire bones when he did that, because he did it on 2. He didn't do it on 3. And remember, it was that much that was inside of me. He had to stick it that much and then crack it to reshape it, remove it, place it back where it needed to be, and then it can heal. But does it look like I've ever had a broken nose? And that was the only time I had black eyes. I've never had black eyes, even though I had an insane amount of street fights. But that's because I'm not a boxer. I'm a street fighter, and we keep our guard completely different, and we punch differently. But my style will work in the ring. Boxing does work in the street, but if you face someone like me, I don't give a fuck if you're Mayweather. I will take you out, because it's a whole different game in the street. All right, and if you don't have the buddies backing you up, trust me, Mayweather or anybody, I will take you out. The only person I probably won't be able to take out in the streets would be someone like McGregor, because he's used to street fighting. Okay, and MMA, you have a different mentality than when you're doing boxing. I don't care how great, how legend you are, it doesn't matter. The mind is the mind. And if you haven't exposed yourself to certain things, certain shocks, trust me, when there's certain dangers that you have no parameters that are keeping you safe, trust me, rules and regulations and your training goes out the door. It doesn't work for you anymore. You might be able to punch better than the normal Joe, but your boxing will not work in the street against a real street fighter. Okay? Out of all those fights, not once did I end up using my jiu-jitsu. Not once. All right? Not to take anything away from jiu-jitsu artists, okay? But going to the ground should be your very, 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 very last resort. Okay? Gotta get going. Enough of that for now. Let me see if there's last messages. There's not. For those of you who came in and out, for those of you who got the notification very late, oh well, thank you for tuning in, even if it was only for several minutes. I appreciate that you at least took the risk of exposing yourself to something completely new, unconventional, different, whatever it may be. But hopefully I entertained you well enough, and hopefully you did not come out like a zombie from this, in the sense that hopefully, even if you already knew what I covered, hopefully, like I said, I entertained you enough, and then you have a different perspective of what you already knew, which does what? Your perspective plus mine added together. Now your perspective is empowered that much more. It truly does work that way, no matter what. Even if you let go of your perspective, it's not going to go away. You're going to let go of it, but it's still in you because it is you. But now, so what I'm saying is, this is what I did with Bruce Lee perspective, Miyamoto Musashi, Morihei Ueshiba, and many more. I said, forget about this dude, Jesus Nazaya Medina, that striker. Nah, I'm gonna use their perspectives, not mine. Mine is in there somewhere. So gotta get going. One love, one light. For together our lives will shine much brighter. Don't forget, you're limited to creativity. Pain is temporary. Pride is eternal. Fulfillment lasts forever. The fight will be worth it. Whether it's mental, physical, spiritual, or emotional, the universe within, Y-O-U, and I, you, universe, will reciprocate dearly. The efforts will be worth it. You only get out of it what you put into it. And never forget, life will always be only up to what your interpretations allow it to be. This is why I say vision is weak, perception is strong, just like Miyamoto Musashi says. Because as above, so below, as inside, so outside. So what you see out there, if you don't like it, it's inside. So perceive properly. If you're not perceiving well, that means it's inside. Okay, so fix the inside, the outside will change as well. Change the way you look at things. The things you look at will inevitably change, change as well. They have to. They have to. Life will always be only up to what your interpretations allow it to be. So be king, be supernatural, be a warrior, because we're always in the life and death struggle towards peace. One love, one light, for together our life will shine much brighter. And I leave you once again, just like I started. The first shall be last, the last shall be first. And we're going to start with, but in a way, we're going to end the show with a legend, MLK Jr., Martin Luther King Jr.
Wisdom born of experience should tell us that war is obsolete. If we are to have peace on earth, our loyalties must become ecumenical rather than sectional. No individual can live alone. No nation can live alone. And as long as we try, the more we're going to have war in this world. And we must either learn to live together as brothers, or we're all going to perish together as fools. Yes, as nations and individuals, we are interdependent. It really boils down to this, that all life is interrelated. We are all caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny, and whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. We are made to live together because of the interrelated structure of reality. Did you ever stop to think that you can't leave for your job in the morning without being dependent on most of the world? You get up in the morning and go to the bathroom and reach over for a sponge, and that's handed to you by Pacific Island. You reach for the bar of soap, and that's given to you at the hands of a Frenchman. Then you go in the kitchen to drink your coffee for the morning. That's poured in your cup by a South American. Or maybe you want tea. That's poured in your cup by a Chinese. Or maybe you are desirous of having cocoa for breakfast, and that's poured in your cup by a West African. And then you reach over for your toast, and that's given to you at the hands of an English-speaking farmer, not to mention the baker. And before you finish eating breakfast in the morning, you're dependent on more than half of the world. This is the way our universe is structured. It is its interrelated quality. We aren't going to have peace on earth until we recognize this basic fact of the interrelated structure of all reality.